Welcome to the Southern U Podcast, brought to you by Darton Archery on the OKest Podcast Network, with your co-host, Matt Brock, Jeremy Ferguson, and Taylor McMurtry. If you're looking for all things land-related in the Southeast, you came to the right place. Whether it's real estate, habitat, wildlife, or just being outdoors, this is the place for you. Welcome to the Southern U. All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Southern U Podcast, where we seek to educate, provide resources for all things land-related in the Southeast. My name's Taylor. That's Matt. That's Jeremy. I'm just kidding. Matt of Habitat First Properties. Yep. Jeremy with Wildlife Consulting Services and Tutland Company. And again, backed by popular demand, the Bray Swaggart.
Yep.
Also of Tutland.
Have you told anybody who she works for?
No, I've not.
Just did.
Well, I said Tut.
I know, but is that official yet?
No, I'm not legal yet.
Never mind. Forget it.
No, she has passed her state exam and she is good. The only thing we're waiting on is AREC to get her license up and sent to me so I can post it.
Yeah, but she's working on a little LLC.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just not legal yet.
Yeah. Well, we'll be there.
When's that
You'll
happen?
get there.
As soon as we get moved,
Oh,
I'll have it set
that's
up
right,
because
that's right.
I refuse to pay the state another $100 to change my address.
That's right.
There you go.
Stick it to the man.
We're
I
just.
think it's $50 now.
I don't know.
It
I was
don't
told
matter.
it was 100.
It may be. It may
Either
be.
way, I'm not giving an extra dime.
No.
That's right. You get enough of it.
Yeah, they get plenty from us as it is.
That's
Absolutely.
Well,
Trump's helping us with that, though. He's helping the little guy.
yeah, trying. We'll see how all that shakes out. Hope it benefits
Oh,
us.
it's shaking all right.
I just hope it benefits the country as a whole.
There you go. That's right.
We'll see.
Well, guys, today episode this is not going to be a Ask a Biologist, I guess, part of that series. We'll be jumping around a little bit, and like I said on the last episode, some of your questions that you've asked for that series kind of require a very specific type of biologist, and it's kind of hard to get everybody's schedules lined up. So we'll have to sort of bounce around and get some people lined up, and then we will continue to answer your questions as we get people scheduled. So, but this one we're going to be talking about is, now that deer season is over.
Oh, my gosh.
You just about
Just about completely ruined the whole set. Sorry, guys. Brock's over here.
Brock's being a kid.
Brock's intrusive thoughts won right there. He couldn't stop him.
What an idiot.
I did not expect that to happen.
I don't think any of us did.
No.
I think we're all still plugged in.
Yeah. Your cord's not long enough.
We'll find out.
Well, it is, but I'm just trying to keep it from getting tight on my head. Hush up.
Anyways, so we are actually filming this episode on the last day of deer season here in Alabama. So
Hopefully a handful of deer survive.
I hope
maybe
so.
they're not all dead.
There's a lot of Alabamians out there going, I got to fill my last tag. I got to fill my last tag.
Yep, all those.
It's not a
bucks,
contest.
All those bucks that got to pass, the first part of the season, midway through the season,
They better
if
be
they
in a
show
hole
that-
today.
Yeah, they better not
And-
come strolling by.
And we've had a cold front. It
Yep.
was 77 degrees a couple days ago.
Correct, it was, and
They'll move.
they'll move around, and
They're going to
they'll
be back on the corn today.
Yep. So maybe they'll make it, but assuming that they do make it, and we have another season to look forward to, or turkey season and everything else going on.
That's what I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah,
Let's just don't talk about it. Heart can't handle it right now.
that's right. Need to just one day at a time get through one season. But now that deer season is or is going to end, and we're taking a look at what you can be doing on your property now that the season is over. Turkey season hasn't fired up yet. What things do we need to be mindful of? What things do landowners need to be actively trying to get done or making plans to get done so that they can have success in the future? And
Burn it all down.
Matt says,
Burn it all down,
when
start
in
over
doubt, burn it.
Burn it.
Which I guess, I don't know. Y'all have any other random shout outs? Anything you want to throw out there for people since before we jump into the questions?
There's got to be some.
Shout out for the turkey and dressing at lunch because it was.
It was good.
So Food
Yeah.
Basket.
Yeah.
Okay, shout out to
Shout
Food
out to
Basket,
Food
unofficial sponsor of
That's
Southern
right. Yeah.
Turkey and dressing.
Dang, girl.
Kapow. What
Thanks
was that?
loud.
Celsius.
Matt's got some sensitive ears, I think.
He
I do.
does,
I really
yeah.
do. Y'all would laugh, but last night when we were at the Super Bowl party, I sat there with earmuffs on the whole time.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
That
100%.
sounds like
you.
Sounds like he's old. That's what it
Oh,
sounds
no.
like.
There were kids running around
100%.
screaming everywhere. They had the TV turned up to 11. And I was just like, I can't handle this. And everybody's just chattering and talking. And I'm like, this is not for me.
He should have walked in Dad's house a while ago. That TV was on more like 82 instead of
Yeah.
11.
Well, by 11, I mean like above what it should go.
Yes.
It was loud. But anyway, yeah. So I watched the Super Bowl with earmuffs on.
Well, there you go.
Well,
And she's still loud. I'm sorry, but her voice is penetrating.
I mean, I don't know what hers.
nah, she's good. Leave her be. Matt's just whining.
I really don't know what I can do to calm it.
We're gonna have to break out what I called him the other day on text message if he don't quit.
Don't do it.
I'm
No.
gonna hold it. I have a shout out to my buddy Scott Woodall. We're getting in a bind with some tree planting going on, and he's a forester and wildlife consultant and owns a sawmill, or his family owns a sawmill up in Jackson County. But he is going to help us store our trees that we've got to go pick up.
Perfect.
Nice.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, we got in a little bit of a bind, need a little more cooler space, and he's helping us out big time. So thank you, Scott.
Appreciate it. Yep, no doubt. That's awesome. Let's see. You know what? Y'all have heard me talk about my buddy Kyle.
Incessantly.
that's the one I
Is
got
this
to
your
meet.
only friend?
Yeah, it's like my only friend I've got.
I got
Yeah.
to meet him, right? That Kyle?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, Kyle.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Kyle. And thank you for the knife, Kyle. Thank you,
Yeah,
buddy.
I was about to say, Kyle he hunted hard this year. Just,
Kyle has worse luck than anybody
He
I know.
does,
It's
man.
worse
Worse
than
than
mine.
you?
Worse than mine.
No.
but he is also the most optimistic person I think I've probably ever met. Like, it just
That's where we're totally opposite.
Nothing gets him down, man. Nothing's gonna like break stride with him. He's just gonna keep on keeping on. So, shout out to Kyle. He is like, just because of his optimism, has like helped me be a successful hunter sometimes, because it's like easy for
That's
me to
funny.
go like, all right, this sucks. We got to get out of here. We got to do something different. And he's just like, dude, like, let's just hunt. It'll be
Just
all right.
enjoy it.
Just enjoy it. And so,
Well, they hunted on my place over
yeah.
there, and did y'all see a deer until the last sit at all?
yeah, just the last sit.
The last sit.
That's terrible.
And there's deer running out your ears and nose
Yep.
over
Normally, if
Now-
I go over there,
there. Dozen.
I see deer from the time I get there to the time I leave.
Now, granted, that may just be because we're terrible hunters. You know what
Nah,
I
it
mean?
shouldn't be. It's just bad luck.
But yeah, and full disclosure, when we did see the spike right at daylight, I'm like, Kyle,
There's your chance,
there
buddy.
it is, man. And he was like, nope, just waved me off. I'm like, tried, dude. So-
Yeah.
And then we had a turkey that ruined everything on when the does came in. So, anyways,
It's amazing. Turkeys can ruin deer hunts, and deer
Deer
always ruin
ruin
turkey
turkey
hunts.
hunts.
Always.
Yep, no doubt. What in the world? Sorry, getting random phone calls here. But aside from that, you're going to jump into some post deer season
Yeah, absolutely.
management.
Yeah.
Well, all right, let's talk first. Let's talk about some dirt stuff.
Dirt.
Soil.
Don't
Yeah.
say dirt.
Yeah, dirt is where soil has been moved. It don't belong there.
Hunting nerds.
Huh? Nerds.
Nerds.
Well, we work a lot with NRCS, and they get mad at us for saying stuff like
I said
that.
dirt in front of my Mississippi State Soil Tech. They'll drop you a letter grade just for saying the word.
Well,
Yeah.
fine then.
It is soil.
until you put it in a baggie and send it to them.
It was pretty funny because actually there was one of my classmates. He said, I was like, man, he's like kind of always in a bad mood. He goes, wouldn't you be in a bad mood if all you did was study dirt the rest of your life?
Nice.
But anyway,
From whence he came.
Yeah, but no, understanding soil properties is very important.
Yep. And we are not soil
No, we
experts.
are not. I can interpret a soil test, and beyond that, you need to talk to an agronomist.
Yes.
It's a big word.
Yes. You use your
Agronomists.
soil professionals.
Yes,
Gotcha.
use them.
They are out there. It's not terribly expensive. If you're going to put the kind of money that people are putting in, plots, trees, your yard, all these things, have a professional help you. Doing it the way Daddy told it, unless he was a soil professional, probably isn't right. No offense to all the dads out there like mine.
Just throw-
Eventually they learn.
Yep,
if
throw
you can
200
show,
pounds of triple 13 on it and go with it.
yeah, that's just, it's not right. And there's some great companies out there that you can send off tests that sell seed. I mean, I know Mossy Oak does. I know Whitetail Institute does.
A lot of your land grant universities.
Yeah, land grant universities. Vitalize, the guys up there, Al and Jared, they're good to help us if we've got questions. So there's plenty of folks out there that can help you with these type of things.
Cool. Yeah, and you're talking primarily for food plot purposes.
Primarily.
Yes. And another good one, I've had some great in-depth conversation with him. He's not from our part of the world, but when it comes to food plot species and soil and fertilize, a guy named John O'Brien, and I'm not even real sure where he's at in the States, but he is a wealth of knowledge. He really is. I wish I knew of a guy down here that did as much as he did on test plots and things like that.
That's cool.
So shout out to that fella, I guess.
Shout out to him. Yeah, I was going to do the shout out for I just don't know the guy's name, Jackson County, that killed that freak deer.
Oh,
the
yeah.
absolute
I got it.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually a friend of a friend. I got that deer sent to me by text. That deer unofficially, I believe, scored 183.
Wow.
That's what I heard.
I was thinking mid-170s. He must have had some inches somewhere I couldn't see.
He had a lot of stuff.
He had a lot going on.
Yeah, I'll see. I'll
What's
poke
so
around and see if I
impressive
can
about
find
that
it.
deer is to see what it scored, but the previous year, if you guys saw the trail camera picture that's been going around, I think it was, from what I understand, it was about 2 miles away from where it was actually killed. But got trail camera pictures the year before, and I mean, holy
Well, hey,
God.
we've got
Fella's name is Preston.
Preston.
Don't have a last
Shout
name,
out to
but
Preston.
Shout out to Preston, killing a absolute mountain.
I've got all
Warrior.
the direct pictures. If we might can get them out there. I mean, they're already posted, so it's not like.
sure.
Well, hey, we had a mutual client that killed a 180 in West Central Alabama on his place that blew up from the previous year.
Really?
Wouldn't even recognize it. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure did.
they can do some funny things sometimes.
It's
They
just,
can make some
I mean,
huge jumps.
To have a deer to grow to that size in that terrain, that environment, is kind of crazy. I mean, that's
Yeah.
those deer live hard.
Well, and a lot of those
They
Jackson
do.
County deer, they do have access to
I mean, there
high
is some
quality
ag.
crops and stuff.
Yeah.
in the
They
bottoms.
have that, but they also have the advantage of having places that people are not
Yes.
going to.
Yeah,
So
they get old.
They do.
They're able to get old up there.
A lot of people that go up there and hunt or come down there and hunt that aren't used to it don't understand some of that. I mean, we've talked about it on here. I had 1,200 acres up there for years, and during the spring we would have 30 plus individual bucks that we could identify that were shooters for us. They met age requirement, plus they were larger antler class that we were trying to shoot for up there at the time. During the fall, as soon as acorns hit the ground, we might hold 2 or 3. That was it, and it was just so surprising for me to see that and watch it year after year. Be like, oh man, look at all these deer, and it's gone.
But you see the exact
Gone.
same thing in the Tennessee River Valley along the edge of Bankhead. You've got all those ag fields full of deer in the summer. and then they just disperse throughout that mountain range. And they also have plenty of places to hide, get away from people. The terrain
absolutely.
keeps people from going in too deep. And
Especially on the way that like Skyline is set up, you can't get an ATV everywhere, and now you can't use an ATV except to retrieve your deer.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of places out there you couldn't even drive one.
Oh, heck no.
So I mean, it would not surprise me one bit if there's deer that are able to go a majority of their lives without seeing a person
Oh, absolutely.
out there, because it is
Those deer die of
treacherous
old
in
age
some
out there.
spots.
Yep.
Well, Jackson County is where I had that. Do you remember that 12-and-a-half-year-old doe?
I do.
Yeah, she was like gray-eared, gray-faced, no teeth.
Hey, like the site visit that we went on a couple days ago.
Yeah.
They've got a deer.
Is that the one? No, somebody sent me a picture of one that looked like that, and I was just like, oh my gosh.
Well, you need
How
to see
old.
this.
This one is like a great-great-great-grandmother.
No, she's multiple times more than that. It's awful looking.
Gives new meaning to the nanny term.
She's definitely
Like
a nanny.
a great-grandnanny.
She's grandnanny.
Yeah.
Grand nanny.
Well, that'd be about like that little spotted doe we've got over there on our place.
She's older.
I've had that place now for, is it 7 or 8 years anyway? Oh my word. Please shoot her and put her out of her misery.
She's not a piebald. She's just
No, she's just old.
She's
Yeah.
old.
Look like a,
Yeah, we'll put this up, hopefully. You send me
I'll,
that picture.
I
I'll
will.
put it up.
I'll share that.
I'm just
yeah.
really proud of her.
I am too.
but yeah, she,
Strong,
Oh,
strong independent woman don't need no man.
That's
what
right.
that is.
that's
I
right.
bet she's had many a men.
For very short periods.
Probably that's why she looks so rough. Golly.
I would like to see at that age what their reproductive rates are like.
Well, I mean, all the studies they've indicated that they don't reach, and this is important, I think, for the podcast because you hear the term old barren doe all the time.
They don't reach that.
They don't reach an age where they stop reproducing, or at
That's
least there's
wild.
No
science to
age,
back
but
it up.
there's some condition to it, but
Right.
not an age.
No,
which
they
is
will-
kind of wild.
as long as their dietary needs are being met, they will continue to reproduce until they die of old age.
Jeez.
Yep.
Is there any studies out that show like how successful their fawn recruitment is once they get past a certain age?
I'm not
Because
aware.
it would just kind
I'm
of
not
make
aware of any
sense, like
either.
as they start going down,
Yeah, they can't compete for the top habitat anymore.
nursing requirements probably
Yeah.
are not being met.
Be interesting.
Somebody
cool.
needs to make that happen.
Somebody make that happen.
Yeah, I'll.
Find the old barren does.
We can.
We've
that-
got
that-
like
that would
4 in
be the-
Alabama.
I was going to say that would be the problem. She's one of the 4.
That's right. She's one of the
That was
4.
25% of the population.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, cool. So we talked kind of some soil things to do with not your dirt, your soil.
Yeah, well,
Sorry.
we didn't
Well,
we didn't specifically mention it, but now is the time to
Now,
be taking soil
yes,
tests.
do your soil test now
It's got to have
because
time to get.
right. It takes a while for lime to correct the soil properties that you're looking for. So go ahead and apply your lime. Get your soil test done now. Get lime out in the next couple of months, and then that time by fall planting, your soil amendment should have been taken care of.
And if you can't afford a lot of the soil amendments, don't forego the lime.
Right.
If it requires it,
Yep.
forego the expensive synthetic fertilizers. Get your pH as good as you can. And look, there is so much more than pH, but that's what everybody focuses on. I mean, you've got your CEC and your base saturation rates, all kind of stuff. But that's why we tell you to talk to a soil professional.
Right.
I do understand it, but I cannot explain it the way they do.
Well, and you can talk to, just for public knowledge, you can talk to your extension office. I've always sent my samples to Auburn. I
Yeah.
know Brock is partial to Mississippi State.
Go no.
Well, and there's nothing against the land grant universities, but a lot of these other labs that aren't with the land grant, for roughly the same money, you're getting more information.
You get a much more detailed report with a
Yeah.
lot of the seed companies.
Yes, like I primarily use Waypoint Analytical or Waters Lab. Both of those are very good, but I have to specify which tests I want, and you can do that with Auburn, but with Waters and Waypoint, I don't have to pay any extra for those. I just have to say that I want them, and I do have to send them a little more soil or dirt
It's nap time.
Yeah. I can't send them a little baggie full and get what I need done. I have to send a whole quart bag. So shipping gets kind of expensive.
Yeah.
No doubt. Bray, anything to add?
She ain't got nothing to say.
Got nothing. All right, then.
Kidding? Golly.
Then we moving on.
As Cook would say, we just dumb dirt biologists.
That's right.
Dumb dirt biologist. Well, we'll move on to Mr. Brock's favorite segment of the show where we talk about burning stuff.
That gun right.
Yeah.
So,
When we talk about it, all I can see is Brock standing there like the little Elmo meme, and it's just blowing up fire behind him. Yes. That's all I can think about.
I am a pyro.
yep, double light drip torches.
I've actually got a picture of her doing that,
Yeah.
holding up double
Really?
drip torches. Oh yeah, in the smoke.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is post deer season, is it, before turkey season gets cranked up, is that a good time to burn? Does it matter?
Ideally,
It
but I think
depends.
we're about to drown.
Yeah,
So-
yes. Right
It's
now-
hard to burn water.
Yeah, it just doesn't burn that well. And right now we have water in the soil, we have water in the plants, and we have water in the air. So it's just not
Yeah.
working out.
Not conducive for
No.
fire.
Because we're looking at what, 7 to 10 inches in the next 2 weeks.
They're saying
Up here.
5 to 7 inches in the next 30 or 46 to 48 to 72 hours.
Yeah. We went from
I'll get there. You just got to be patient.
We went from the fall of not being able to burn because it was just jump after jump after jump, and all you did was fight fire instead of achieve your desired results, to now we can't burn because it's so wet. And that's just our local conditions where we have contracts. It's not that way everywhere.
But assuming weather is good, it's okay.
Assuming
It's
weather
time.
is good.
Yes.
Look, so the dormant season burning really begins anytime after the first frost. So, from November in our area, from November through March is what I consider to be dormant season burning.
Most people just don't want you burning during deer
That's
season
right.
because the obvious reasons.
Yep.
But then
You
we'll
remove
get
that
into-
winter cover. When you burn in the early dormant season, you go all winter without that cover there, and that usually defeats the purpose.
Yeah, it can
of having
negatively impact you there from a hunting standpoint.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's why we also suggest the checkerboard
Yes.
mosaic style.
Yep.
Don't burn gigantic tracks at one time.
And
Yes.
that's important when you transition into the growing season. I'm a big proponent of growing season fire, but I generally try to do smaller blocks rather than larger at that time. But yeah, my burn season goes all the way through June.
Especially as we roll into turkey season
Yeah.
on all that.
And there's a lot of folks that won't let you burn during turkey season, but we do as much as we can. Obviously, it's small burn units, like Bray said and Matt said, but doing it that way, you're not impacting, nest survival a whole lot. I mean,
And-
obviously, you're going to burn some nest,
Right.
but
And-
it's worth.
Yeah,
It's worth
the
that.
benefits are
The benefit
way outweigh
outweigh.
the loss. So a lot of times when we're talking about growing season fire, I'll maybe take a break on clients that I know have a strong emphasis for turkey in that peak nesting. So
Yeah.
anywhere from mid to late April into early May, take a break, pick back up
After it.
after.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, are we still going to potentially burn some nest?
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly, but it's not as likely as
Right.
before.
Gotcha. And so what about with the prescribed fire, how do you go about determining if this say it's a new property that you've not been on before, or someone who's just not burned before? How do you go about determining what sections of this property am I going to burn, or what's a good candidate for burning, and what should I leave alone, and that kind of stuff? 'Cause I know there's a lot of people that have messaged and otherwise just commented and stuff like, "Hey, that sounds awesome, but I don't know what of my property needs it and what doesn't." And
Yeah.
that
A
kind of
big
stuff.
part of it is the feasibility of burning it at particular
Yes.
times. And look, you're going to run into some properties that we're going to walk up to and go, "Sorry, we wish we could help you," and it's not that it doesn't need it, but there are a lot of factors out there that govern our decision on burning. Location, what's around it, sensitive areas to smoke. So we have to keep all that in mind, plus what's going on that property.
Right. And typically, the objective, what they're trying to accomplish, is going to drive
Gonna
my
drive it.
decision. But normally, if I'm looking at a stand that has timber and it's been many years since it's been burned, I want to do a dormant season burn initially. Just because if you try to burn an area that's got a really thick duff layer and dry soil underneath, you'll damage the roots of the trees and timber. You'll have a higher mortality than what you're after. So after you get some of that duff layer taken care of with higher soil moistures, you can come back with some growing season fires afterwards if that's what they need. For woody species control, generally try to burn those sometime during the growing season. Deer benefit tremendously from growing season burns because you have your initial spring green up, and then the palatability of those plant species decreases as you go throughout the summer. So if you can set that growth back to an early stage of development in mid to late summer,
it's phenomenal.
it's just like having another spring green up.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And on the opposite side of that, I mean, Matt mentioned timber track, primarily talking pine most of the time, but dormant season this time of year is a perfect time to burn through hardwoods.
Absolutely.
If you want to keep a relatively cool fire, you want to try to get it through there pretty quick so that you don't have a lot of time around the trunk of those trees. The more time it sits around those, the more damage it can do. But as long as you don't have stem flow on your hardwoods, it's not taking nutrients and water from the roots to the canopy.
Okay.
So if you interrupt that, or if it's got high stem flow and you have a fire that sits around the trunk for minutes, then it's going to start to boil that water inside and it pops the bark. And when it does that, it kills the tree. Or seriously
having trouble talking today.
We're in food coma now.
Yeah, it's that banana pudding, man.
Yes.
That banana pudding in food basket.
Yeah,
Y'all are struggling.
Cabbage and turnip greens.
but a lot of people don't
good
know that
stuff.
that's what they're hearing when they're burning
That
things like
popping.
that. That popping, that's trees or other plants boiling
Moisture
and
being released.
exploding.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Pop, pop. I love it.
And so in hardwood
getting
stands,
excited.
The louder
it
the
is.
better.
In hardwood stands, it's not terribly popular to do a lot of burning. I almost said poplar, and he started laughing. It's not terribly popular to do a lot of burning from a timber perspective because it makes those trees have rot at the trunk, and the best cut's the butt cut. That's your money cut. So if you ruin the grade of that timber at the base, then you could potentially be losing a significant amount of the value of your timber stand.
Gotcha.
But now hardwood logs are not worth what they
No,
once were.
the hardwood market, just to be blunt, sucks.
I took a timber buyer in to look at what some people would look at being one of the best hardwood tracks you could imagine. Huge cherry bark and white oaks that were 22, 24, 26 inches, 80 feet tall. And he's like, I can get some cross ties out of this, but there's no market for saw timber. I know.
And it's going to stay that way. Look, I don't sell logs. I've been in the timber business for many years now. With all the uncertainty that we have now under this new administration, what we got going on? Matthew, you got a runny nose? Yeah.
You had to know that wasn't going to go that far.
I tried.
It's like trying to throw a feather. Maybe I'll make it.
With the change in administration and tariffs, that's going to continue to impact our forestry markets for a little while until things start to settle out.
Gotcha.
It did last time Trump came in because of the tariffs between us and Canada and China. We export a lot of our products to them or bring them in. Good Lord. So as Matt said, the hardwood market does pretty well just, up here. I don't know about South Alabama, but I would expect it's about the same. It's not very good.
Yeah. Bray, you're awful quiet.
I had a really big lunch.
That food coma's real.
Oh, it is. I'm
was
fighting
really
a nap
good.
so hard right now.
Not to mention, every one of us ate turkey and dressing, got that tryptophan in
That's
there.
true. Yep.
It was fine too.
It was
and
really good.
I drank whole milk for lunch, which
Yeah.
makes it even worse. I've got the lactose coma going on.
Yeah. Listen, just for the record here, you leave a comment in this video if you have ever heard of another grown man ordering whole milk to drink for like lunch.
It should be illegal.
It should be.
I can't make fun of him
No,
because
he
I do
does.
it.
But now
So-
look, we go through 8 to 9 gallons a week at my house of whole milk.
Need a cow.
I don't know
Need
if the
a
cow
deer.
could keep up.
I don't know if it could or not.
Oh
Cows-
yeah, oh yeah, good old
Think
Jersey
old mama cow could
oh,
keep up?
Lord, yeah,
Well,
Yeah, a
she
good
would-
one could.
She would be busy.
yeah.
But no, I mean, this time of year is good for, I always call them just cleanup fires. This is also a good time of year if you have the right conditions to kind of get your feet wet and,
Yeah.
doing prescribed burns. This is generally a safer time of year, I guess is what you would say. You definitely don't want to start learning how to conduct fires in August
Dry
or
weather.
September.
Yeah.
It'll get a little western,
I
but
don't like doing them even with the experience that I
Yeah,
have.
we generally have good soil moisture this time of year, so it helps keep things under control from a standpoint, or keeps you from burning. Period, like where we are now.
Oh yeah, like you can't. I mean, so in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I set aside several days to get some site prep burns done, and yes, we're still trying to get site prep burns done this late. And knowing that they were not going to burn, we threw in some prairie burns because hey,
Yep.
light fuels that are dry, even though you got water underneath, they'll carry. And some of those places we even had a hard time getting to burn. But, burning prairie ground right now, things that are really not in the shade, you can get away with that. But shady stuff is not going to burn. It's just not going to do it.
And see, I'm not doing prairie stuff right now personally. I mean, we do it obviously, but this is the time of year that I start working on my pastures too. I burn my Bermuda fields this time of year. I start doing my pre-emergence on my Bermuda fields and some of my other pastures, which kind of falls into some of the other stuff we're going to talk about, I think.
Yeah, it flows right into the clover maintenance you were asking about.
Yeah. So it's a really good time of year for that type of thing too. And we do a lot of that in our local farming community for folks.
Gotcha. Sounds like fire is almost always a good idea if it's feasible.
And it is, and that's the problem that you see with human, our encroachment into the wilderness. Everybody is familiar with what's happening out in California. Improper management is what's causing that. Some of that can be alleviated with proper management. I mean, I don't think they can do anything about their moisture because they got so many people out there. They're soaking up every drop of water they can get.
Well, and the West is a different beast
It is.
altogether.
It's a fire dominated system.
Naturally, yes. And
they put $1 million houses in the middle of it. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. It's kind of like building a house
Beach
on
house.
the coast. Good and well at some point in time.
Yep.
I heard now. Does that diminish the I guess what's the word I'm looking for?
The value.
Value.
Allure.
No. Stop.
Milk.
No. It's still a tragedy.
Oh,
when
100%.
someone loses a house.
No
Yeah.
question.
But
look, there's
it's
loss
bound
of
to happen.
lives and all of that.
Right, but
it's-
you're taking that risk. Same
Yes.
thing with building the homes out there, and having spent some time out there, especially in New Mexico and Arizona. Everybody's like, well, why don't they burn more? Why don't they burn more? You can't. Not like
Not
you do
now.
here.
it's a way different
It's-
beast out there. You've
it
got
is-
different winds,
yes,
different dryness.
Yes, everything's different. The humidity levels out there are unbelievably low. The duff layer I was talking about a minute ago, here we may have a couple inches. They may have 12 inches of duff.
With dry soil
with dry
under it.
soil underneath it. So
Yeah.
when you have those conditions, there is no safe prescribed fire.
No.
There's no way to do it.
And people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand why they can't get them controlled. When a fire gets that hot, there's nothing you can do but try to slow it down so
Right.
people can get out.
These fire departments are hamstrung. I mean, they can throw all the water, all the retardant and everything, every crew that they have out there. And those fires, because of the wind, what they had Santa Ana winds going on, 70, 80 mile an hour winds. So you can't really create a barrier, a fire break wide enough for that fire not to get from where it's burning actively to somewhere that's got fuel. One ember is all it
Well,
takes.
and I don't think people realize like how far one tiny ember
Can go a
Miles.
long way.
and
miles.
how, if you burn enough, you're going to see some
Crazy stuff.
scary things.
One thing that
Well, one of the videos I think I don't know that I put it. I know I shared it with all y'all. I don't know that we put it on Southern U or not, but burned a fire for you for a client here in North Alabama, and it was a great fire, relatively calm, and I had inexperienced help. My wife and Colby were my help. Really, all I needed was somebody to watch fire lanes. It's not a big fire. I can take care of it. And had a nice little, just cool fire, if you want to call it that.
backing fire,
Yeah, just that was a flanking fire, but anyway, it was under control. It wasn't massive or anything, and it burned underneath. It's about that tall. Flame tips were about 18 inches, and it burned underneath everything, and it was just picture perfect. Looked good. We had a wind swap, and that fire was burning downhill, which was what I was, what I was wanting, what I was after. But when the wind switched, everything that it had burned under was still dry, and I had dried it out even more with fire under it, and it flopped back, and that fire, the base of the fire was 18 inches off the ground and burning in elevated fuel, and came back up the hill.
back through what had already burned.
Dang.
I mean, it's
With what, 16 to 18 foot flames?
oh yeah, and you can in the video you can see the fire hit the fire line or the lane, and the flames are on the other side of it.
Oh, God.
And we were lucky that when it hit that, it just whew, and just really went out. It sucked all the fuel up, and it was done. But had it been a little drier, there'd have been nothing I could do. It would have been across the line and off to the races.
That's scary.
Look, it just stuff happens.
It does. It does.
People call them controlled fires. They are not controlled by any way, shape, or form. They are prescribed fires.
prescribed.
We
hopefully under control.
yes, we are burning them under a certain prescription that we found was safe. That's why they called that. You don't control fire. You hope to keep it in line.
You control all the elements that you
Yes, that you can,
and
right.
then hope for the best, but prepare for the
And
worst.
sometimes those elements can change.
And I mean,
Yes.
we've
In the middle of
seen
a fire.
fires jump 150 feet over
Oh, yeah.
your fire break, and that's not something that you just notice when you're riding fire lines.
Not
That's
looking for
something that
that.
you see when it's 8-foot
Well,
flame.
and that's when I've had to tell my help sometimes when I've got people that are helping me, they want to learn more about fire. And I say, okay, I need you to ride this fire line and make sure they don't have a jump. Well, as they're
Don't look
driving
here.
along,
Yeah.
they're looking in
Look
my
there.
fire. And I'm like, no. I know it's burning over here.
Yeah,
I
that's-
need your eyes
Out
fixated
there.
on all this out here because back when we were under our fire weather advisory, we, like I said, we had so many site prep burns to do. We just like, hey, we've got decent conditions today. I know it's dry, but let's go get done what we can get done. And we had a fire jump 300 feet with look. And when I say jump 300 feet, I'm not talking about like with raging, fire coming up on the black line either. I'm talking about my backing fire. The wind picked up, and it just picked up a little ember, and it just towed it across, and it landed in a brush pile 300 feet away. And then I had a brush pile on fire on the other side with nothing I could do. Because although we had 2 water tanks, UTVs, that's great at putting out little spot fires
You're
to
not
jump
putting
across
out
the
a-
line.
yeah.
You're not putting out a brush fire.
You're not going to put out a brush fire even with a brush truck,
No.
with a fire department.
Nope.
And once it gets that much energy, you can't do anything with it. You just hope to keep it from getting.
You just have to work
Terrible.
on containment
Yep.
at
Yeah.
that point.
And my eyes were opened when I got a thermal handheld unit.
See how hot that stuff
You
is.
want to freak yourself out as a burn manager? Start
look
looking at the embers that are going across the line with a thermal unit.
Mm-hmm.
You'll turn it off. Like I watched them until I was like, I can't do this.
No.
I'm stressed. Like this is
It make you have a heart attack.
You
It
really
will.
hope this one fizzles out.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hope
So
that one fizzles out.
don't look at embers crossing the line under a thermal unit. Just don't do it.
Just say no.
Just say no.
Fire is a tremendous tool
Yep.
that we use,
Love it.
but it
Have I mentioned that?
yeah, there's bad things can happen. It was not a burn of mine, but I've seen a new house burnt from a prescribed fire. Seen people lose entire timber stands because of crown fires. Stuff happens.
Yep.
You just do your best for containment and safety.
But this is also a time of year where they do a lot of those like learning burns
Yes.
and
Yes, they do.
stuff like that. And if it's something you're interested in, sign up for them.
Absolutely.
Whatever state you're in, most states do them. I know when I was younger, I did the one at, was it Enon or
Yeah.
I think it was at
Enon or
Enon.
Seahoy.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Yeah, a pig ran out of that fire. A very big pig ran out of that fire while
Well, my wife don't watch this, so I can say it. She'd probably cry about it. But at Auburn, Kent Hanby, when he was still there, taught the fire class, and I had some buddies. I wasn't in it. I had already got my certification in Georgia, working over there doing internship. But they had a rabbit come out of a fire that was on fire,
Oh no.
and it lit
A fire on the
more
other
fire
side.
as
Yes.
it was running around
Yes.
before it died. It lit another fire
Yes.
Hey, that's
that
like,
they had to put out.
I have seen
Like-
that happen too.
like Samson and the Philistines
Yeah.
tying foxes together.
Well, there's some truth to
awesome.
that. Because I tell you, the guy that was previously helping me burn some tracks, he was burning brush piles on his place. And he had a nice fire break around these brush piles. On the other side of the fire break was all broom sedge. Like you didn't really want it to get out in that.
Yeah.
Y'all, a rat on fire ran out of that
Oh,
brush.
no.
And he just hauled tail all through that thing, just lighting broom sedge up. I'm talking about it was just a trail of fire everywhere he went. And
It's
that can create a hairy situation.
well, that may be singed situation.
Yeah.
with no hair left.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, be
but-
safe with fire.
Yeah,
But
and you had another instance. It was just odd. The fire that was in the culvert.
oh yeah,
Stuff happens.
Yep.
It just
Weird
and
stuff.
look, and crazy stuff is going to happen to him and her.
Yes, we
Yeah.
have the strangest things happen that there's no way that could happen to anybody but those two.
Yeah.
But she's a human that happens to, and I am too.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why I get so frustrated. We were at a burn the other day doing a fire, and he was like, "No, nothing can go wrong."
No, never say
Yeah,
that.
that's
Well,
I wanted-
on that particular day, it couldn't.
Oh, was it raining?
I wanted to vomit as soon as we get out there.
She was like,
he's
"No, Brock, don't say
"No,
that."
nothing could go wrong." I was like, "Oh my god, we're gonna be on the news." And then you called and was like, "Hey, you want to be on the news again?"
Yeah, you literally just said that right after we talked
That's
about being
awesome.
on the news.
Well, we'd already been on there once or twice. I know.
Yeah.
We made it to James Spann at one point.
Nice.
This
I would
last
like
year.
to give a shout out to James Spann.
Yeah.
Mama, I
Me
made it.
too.
There you go.
He is the man. I
He is
mean,
the man.
really,
Spann the man.
He does a
Respect
great
the
job.
polygon.
I see it.
Respect the polygon. No doubt.
And one thing you said that he actually, when he talks about prescribed fire, he explains it
He
pretty
does.
doggone good.
He does. He
Yeah.
does a great job.
Yeah. So
he does a great job.
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, we've made it once. I know may not.
And
may-
not
may have
because we
been-
did anything wrong.
No, it's
it was
just
just putting
big
up
smoke
so
plume.
much smoke. So many people were calling and asking what was going
Yeah.
on. So
I know I have been on the news through the years 3 times for fires, and it's sometimes you just throw up a lot of smoke.
that's you've had a great day when you see your fire on Facebook.
Yes, everybody wants to know
What's going on over
Yeah.
there? Yeah.
And you just kind of sit back in your recliner that evening. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
That's me.
And I'm glad we have the resources for this, but our forestry commission is phenomenal.
They do a fantastic job.
But when we're out burning, if we've got a decent one and you hear a plane, That's them.
They're flying.
That's them checking on you.
Yep.
And look, if you have a problem, they call you and say, "Hey, man, you've got this going on. You need to check on that."
Yeah.
They'll radio it down to somebody and they'll call us.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
So they are a tremendous resource in this state, and they
Absolutely.
save our rear ends.
They have a
They
couple
save
times.
they save everybody that's in our business. They save everybody's rear ends
That's cool.
through their career at least a handful of times.
That's cool.
Yep.
So, shout out to Alabama Forestry Commission.
Yeah, shout
You guys
out,
do a
man.
great job.
That's right. We'll just keep passing them out like Oprah.
Might as well.
You get one. Everybody gets one. Well, we've talked about fire for a little bit. Now we'll switch gears. Let's talk about predator management.
It is time, but it's always time.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're doing. If you're trapping for fur, then it's fur bearer season. So
Yeah.
Yep.
they're not worth anything, but good luck.
Have
But
fun.
it's a good thing to start teaching your kids
It
how to
is.
do.
They
It's
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids love it.
It's not something that they have to be still and quiet
Right.
and sit for
No.
a long time.
Is Mike still doing those for the department? Okay, so
Mike
shout out to
Severing.
Mike Severing.
Yes.
There you go.
Yep. He was actually on a recent
Mossy Oak? Okay.
Gamekeepers
Yeah.
podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mike is a phenomenal resource. I worked with him, doing the trapping workshops for, my entire time that I was at the department. A wealth of knowledge, just unbelievable at how much he knows, not only about trapping, but even the history of a lot of some of the restocking efforts. And I'm not going to tell the story because I don't know it precisely, but I know he was involved with the river otter reintroduction, I think in the Mississippi River. Was it Missouri he was at, I think?
I can't remember.
But anyway, he had a pretty big hand in that. But I'm
cool.
pretty sure it was Missouri where he worked before he came to Alabama. But another group, but he works with Mark Brenner, who y'all know. They do a really good trapping workshop in conjunction with Mike on a big piece of ground that they lease and manage around Birmingham.
Okay, cool.
But yes, trapping.
Hit your nest predators right now.
Yes.
Because if you can hit them hard right
Through
before
now, all
Yes.
the way through
turkey season.
turkey season.
Yep.
Yeah, if you've got a property that you can check every day because there are
Trap
legalities
laws.
with your trapping.
Yep.
Putting out DP
The
traps
DP
doesn't
traps.
take any time at all. Throw some marshmallows out there.
Yeah. And if it stays warm like it is, you may have to swap to something that's not quite as
Sticky.
Melty.
sticky. Yeah, well, look,
Melty.
ants, when marshmallows start melting, ants just cover them up and everything else leaves them alone.
Yeah.
That's when you can swap to different things. But, coyotes, bobcats, the whole nine this time of year. And there are some great trappers. If you're in the South and you're looking for somebody to help you trap, what is it? Facebook, is it Down South Trappers on Facebook that has a page?
No.
There are, I think it's Down South. But if you get on Facebook and look up trapping groups, and there are many that you can get help from, and there's a website called Trapper Man. I wouldn't tell you any of that if I still had my trapper that we were doing so much trapping, but
Yep.
I had literally one of the best on the planet, and somebody with 200,000 acres hired him, so I can't blame him.
Don't blame him
So
one bit.
he lives in
Paradise.
West Texas, New Mexico now. So, but yes, there are real good trappers around.
Hey, speaking of trapping,
Yeah,
Zach Hansen has Okayest Trapper on the network.
there you
so
go.
you guys,
Shout
I'll
out.
reach out to that.
Yep. He also wrote a book called Turning Feral, which is basically his story of leaving the corporate world and going to go live in the mountains and trap stuff instead. So, Zach is Okayest Trapper. That podcast is blowing up too, from what we're hearing. It's getting pretty popular.
That's
So-
good.
And look, trapping's a blast. If I had more time, I would be my butt out there in the
I
field
would love
trapping.
it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Now it's rough on you broke down people, or if you got back problems,
Knees and back.
If
trapping
you're
can be
like
tough.
over 35, it gets a little difficult.
It can, yeah.
Says the youngest in the room.
Right.
Yeah.
Says the one who hasn't seen 35.
Or 30.
Yeah.
Hey, I wasn't complaining about my back hurting when we hit potholes.
Yeah, he
Earlier.
squalls like a baby in the back seat. Of course, you hit a bump in a ton truck. The back's a
Oh,
little
well,
stiff.
now we're talking about Alabama potholes too. Those
Yes.
are different
Yeah.
than everywhere else
Those
in
are
the
the
world.
ones that like shut your check engine light off.
That's
You
right.
hit
I
'em
pray
just
that you
right.
don't have back trouble one day.
Me
Yeah.
I
too.
really do.
But
But no, trapping's a blast. Everybody
It is.
should. I think at one point, because I'll say I had a little bit of a different background growing up than y'all did.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was a, Bambi lover,
no.
Disney movie.
Imagine
I
that.
know. Hard to believe.
Our college is full of people like that in wildlife school.
Yeah, well,
They
here's the
all are.
thing. I grew up. But
You matured a little bit.
just a little bit.
Hadn't got any older, but she grew up.
But no, I love the trapping stuff
Yeah.
because you have a different respect for the animal because you have to work for it.
Yeah.
It's not super easy.
No.
No, it's not.
If you want to look
Especially-
stupid,
yeah.
try to catch you an old coyote.
Yeah, I was about to say, especially with like the big predator trap. I say big predators, Alabama big
Right.
predators.
For Alabama, yeah.
Your bobcats and coyotes. It's tough, but you'll learn things.
Now, I have found cats to be a whole lot easier to catch than
Oh yes,
coyotes.
the curiosity with the cat,
Cat can't help it,
and then, I mean, they obviously use their sense of smell,
but not to the degree.
but
of
not
the
to the
dog.
degree of a canine. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
They
a
just
cat
don't.
uses their paw.
That's it. It's like
That's what gets them
I'm
in
going to
trouble.
play with it with my paw
Yeah.
until I figure out what it
you
is.
just. Oh,
yeah. Dang it.
Oh, and we can clear up any misconceptions about traps. It's not like the Disney movies where
Right.
it's
No.
metal teeth ripping your.
and I wish I had. I wish I had one because I
Yeah,
would
we
do.
should.
Exactly.
I have shut my hand in them
I did
multiple
it.
times.
I did, or I do it anytime I'm talking about trapping in front of people. Just stick your hand in there, snap, and you're like,
And it's
see,
cool
it's not that bad.
Until you're not expecting it.
Oh, it scares the devil out of you.
Yeah, I was dyeing some traps one time. And
Wow.
Well, and,
I'm an idiot. I went to see if they were dry.
oh,
And
no.
I just like grabbed one and I forgot when you're dyeing them, you set them.
Yep.
And I was focused on something else, went to see if they were dry, and it caught.
Oh, did it paint you?
No, it went like on that fat
Oh, it
part
got
of
you.
my thumb, and my fingers started tingling, and I was like,
I broke it.
I broke my thumb.
Mm-hmm.
Went to urgent care. They were like, "Can you fill out this paperwork?" I said, "No, not really." But that was a fluke. It was an
Oh, yeah.
accident. If you hit it the way that an animal's going to step on it,
Right.
it doesn't hurt. It's just inconvenient.
Yeah. And I will tell you, if you're going to get into trapping, reach out, find somebody, okayest trapper. Just reach out to him. They will give you some pointers. Now, there's a lot of trappers out there that they're going to hold their secrets tight. Don't blame them. One that I learned, which I wasn't an aquatic trapper, just didn't care anything about it. But watching some guys, you never, ever, ever wax a
Conibear?
conibear or a body grip trap.
Right.
They're fast enough.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
don't wax
Yes.
them.
No,
I saw a
not
guy
needed.
wax them and he got caught. And they're unbelievably fast anyway. It was like
Now, they will hurt you.
Yes, and it was like it never moved. You're just like, come on. I was like, yeah, I mean, it was just got. And another little tidbit, aquatic trapping, because we did this, or I had to get a guy out of one. If you are setting conibears, body grip traps, they're kill traps, okay, for those of you that's listening. Don't stake them down before you set them. Because if you do, that's where you're going to still be
You're gonna stay right
until
there.
somebody comes and gets you out. We were trapping on a river.
Help.
And that's,
Didn't that happen
that's
to the girl
exactly
with
what I
Skyline?
No. My intern?
Yeah. What
No,
happened?
she didn't get hurt. Bless her heart, she went to go check traps, and
Right.
it was July
Oh.
in the beaver swamp, and
Ugh.
she got a little too hot.
But she didn't get caught.
She didn't get caught.
Okay,
no.
I couldn't
No,
remember exactly what
Well,
happened.
my
you may be
big-
thinking of the guy I'm talking about.
I may be.
My
I know
big
somebody
thing
got
there
caught
was-
in one for a long time.
I kept catching
not a
snapping
long time.
turtles. Was
Oh,
my
yeah.
big hold up.
Yeah, absolutely. We were doing the trapping class, and we were trapping beavers along a river. And the first two things we teach: do not wax these, and do not stake them before you set them. And we're walking down the river, and we've left one of the guys. He's setting everything up. He had everything kind of going good. And he's like, all right, you got it? Yeah, man. Da, da, da. So off we go. And then later, we're probably a quarter mile down the river from him. All you can hear is, help. Help me. Help. And we start, we hear, let's go back. He had staked down a 330 and caught both hands.
Shut your mouth.
It had him right across the knuckles with both hands like this, and he just
Nothing he could do.
no, he wasn't going anywhere. He couldn't pull it up. He couldn't get his hand out because you can get out of those if you have the proper tools and you have
A free
Both
hand.
free
hands.
hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when you have both hands, you're just stuck. You might can weasel one out, but it's tough.
That would be awful.
So there are safety measures that you can put in place. Conibear, they got little clips, I forget what they're called, that you can hook over them. And if you set it off, it's not going anywhere.
I don't do any aquatic trapping.
I used to
I just don't.
a little bit. I hated it. Or let me say I used to. I could teach
Dabbled
it.
in it,
Yes. But I didn't like doing it, so I never went very far with it.
I did it a lot when I was in college with the USDA.
Yeah.
I volunteered just to add stuff to my resume.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
know much about it. I did it there. I did it with the state, and I still am such a big sissy when it comes to conibear. I'll do it, but I'm
Yeah.
so, and then I worry that I'm going to get hurt because I'm being too
Yep.
nervous
Fragile
about
with
it.
it.
But I mean, other traps I'll set them all day long. Doesn't bother me. But the big conibear traps, I'm fully convinced I'm going to snap my arm in half one day.
Well, see, and with my history and the way things happen to me,
You'd have one around your neck.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't need to pick up that kind of trapping.
Right.
We
I will say I caught some impressive snapping turtles.
Nice. Heck yeah.
we caught a bunch of we caught a bunch of pigs in leg holes
Really?
through the years. Yeah, absolutely. If the pig was small enough, you could get them up above their dew claw.
Oh, yeah,
they're
they
not
ain't
going
going
anywhere.
Yeah.
They're there, and you want to talk about a pissed off animal
Oh,
when you
I
get
bet.
there. They're not
I
happy.
bet. I bet.
And unfortunately, look, it's going to happen. If you've got a big turkey population, you are going to catch turkeys by the leg because most people, if you're trapping coyotes and I hadn't listened to but one episode of the OKS Trapper. I need to listen to more. But coyotes, bobcats, a lot of those predators are using roads. And that's where we catch most of our coyotes is along roads. You're going to catch turkeys that way. It's just going to happen.
Yep.
Well, if you look
You
at
gotta
the
be okay
sides
with
of
it.
dirt roads, that's where you see
Yeah, sure.
all of your tracks.
Well, I feel like, again, it's kind of like burning. You're accomplishing a greater good.
It is,
by
yeah.
having them there,
It's frustrating.
Well, you
when
got to look at population management, not individual management.
Yes.
When you lose an animal like that, so
right.
Yeah.
That's cool. Last one we got here to kind of close things out is camera survey or kind of just, population inventory, I guess, with, if you're trying to survey your deer, which ones made it through the season. And if so, what can you do to kind of foster those along and see that they don't succumb to something else, I guess, between here and next season and that sort of stuff.
Well, one good thing other than starting to do habitat work is if you are feeding, swap over from a heavy carbohydrate to protein feed to help these deer get out of that late season oomph where there's just not a lot. Now, food plots the last few years have not done well late season. Right now,
They look
because
phenomenal.
of our warm weather and the rain, they're exploding. So
we had 2 weeks in a row of near record temps, and then we had 2 week or at least 7 or 8 days of near warm record temps.
Yeah.
We actually did set a couple of records.
Yeah.
But yeah, the warmer weather has had these food plots popping.
Yeah.
They look good.
I think a lot of people also had to replant their
They
plots.
did.
They did.
This
That-
year.
that-
'Cause
that-
we got in a bad
That late
drought.
fall drought just
Yeah.
hurt everybody. But doing those couple things, I think Matt mentioned, we were just talking earlier, maybe was shed hunting. If you're going to find a shed in Alabama, you better get out and start doing it, or they're going to be gone.
Oh, coyotes love to pick them up. throw 'em
Coyotes,
off.
squirrels. I've seen deer carry them off. You know, they'll chew them up. So about everything in the woods in the South will grab hold of an antler and chew on it. So if you want to find one in good shape, you better get out there and start.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
If not, you'll find it with your tractor tire.
yeah, I have
Absolutely.
found quite a few that way.
Yeah. And if you're not, if you've got a fairly robust deer density and these food plots that we're talking about how they're exploding, you better ride them with a four wheeler or walk them before you start doing maintenance this time
Yep.
because they're going to be tall enough to hide them and you will have flat ruined tires.
Yeah, and speaking of maintenance, spraying clover,
Yeah.
it's a good time to do that.
I think
now.
we skipped over that.
We did.
Didn't we?
Yeah, well, I had it in here, kind of in that same soil stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, yeah. Right now, before.
We'll bounce back to that.
Yeah. So I typically plant, nurse crop, some type of grain, cereal grain with my clover, especially at establishment. And you need to knock that back before it goes to seed and gets up and towers above your clover.
Yep.
So a good grass selective herbicide over the next couple of weeks. Broadleaf stuff, I typically try to hit early summer before it really goes to maturity.
And if some people worry about the broadleaf, it depends on what you've got
It
and how
really
much of
does.
it.
I don't worry about some of the stuff out
Nah,
there.
most of it I don't. One of the things that I see that's heavily in clover plots for some reason, or they have been for me, is you'll get real big spots of nightshade in it.
Yep.
And I try to knock that out best I can. But that's about all that hurts me in clover that's broadleaf for the most part.
Gotcha.
But it's a great time to start, hitting with warm temperatures. Hit your clover with Alt 2020 if you don't have a soil test.
Yep.
I don't like giving blanket, but if you don't have anything else, 50 to 100 pounds of that this time of year or a little later, treat your clover well.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of macros and micros you need to worry about. A lot of pathogens with clovers that you need to kind of pay attention to. Start seeing clover with a lot of different spots, white or orange type spots. You may have to take samples and send it off to determine exactly what it is. But when we get a lot of moisture like we are in warm temperatures, you may start seeing that.
Gotcha.
I'm no expert with that. I take samples and send it off. They'll tell me what to do.
Gotcha. Bray, wait for some commentary.
I think they covered everything that there is to cover on
Yeah, I mean, we kind of,
crimson, clovers.
yeah, let's say we,
Roll Tide.
No.
No.
we kind of did a speed run there of different stuff. But the point is, I think that there is like the post deer season blues. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah, but there's
man.
plenty to do.
Yeah, there
There's
really
so
is
much
a
to
ton
do.
to
Well,
do.
there's now starting in
In about 2 hours.
starting about
Yeah.
3 hours. Once season is over, that's when if you'll start today and start working toward next year, you're going to have a lot better success than if you start in August.
Well, and it's weird too because you get busy doing some of this stuff and be surprised at how fast time goes by. It's like, oh,
absolutely. It'll be deer season before you know
Yes.
it again. Unfortunately / fortunately, whatever. There's a lot to do in this amount of time. And when it's dry enough during the wintertime, it's great to work on your roads. But
Roads and fire breaks, so you
Yeah.
can have those ready when you've got the right fire weather.
Yeah.
conditions
But
are right.
as wet as it is around here, you can't do either one right now.
No.
That's why, I mean, we got most of our fire breaks done.
Yeah.
Now we're just waiting for
Yeah, I'm actually waiting on it to
Weather.
dry out just a little bit to show properties that need fire breaks to a couple dozer operators. And no sense in going out there right now.
What about like are y'all relieved? This is how it is for me every year. Are y'all relieved that deer season's over, or are you?
I wish it was
dang.
over 3
Yeah.
weeks ago.
January 31st.
Yeah, I wish it had been over, but shoot, it's been over for me since I shot that deer.
So I hunted for the first time Saturday afternoon, which would have been February the 8th. First time I've been hunting in Alabama since December 29th.
What day did
So I went over a month.
Yeah.
A month and almost 2 weeks.
Jeez.
what day did the season open? Rifle season.
It was November 23rd this year.
I hadn't hunted since the 23rd.
Yeah. He killed that deer and done.
Yep.
That's it.
I'm sort of. I didn't hunt. I didn't get a chance to hunt as much as I typically would, but it's usually like when it gets to be the end of the year, I'm like, it's almost a relief.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just like I'm so glad that I don't have to even be tempted.
Yeah.
With going, just like even the past 2 or 3 days. Hey, you're gonna come down here and hunt with me. You're gonna hunt. I'm just like, it's hot, it's rainy. I don't know. Like I hadn't killed a buck in Alabama. Like I need to go. I don't really want to go. You know what I mean? Just like the.
I'm usually wore
I'm just-
down by
yes.
Christmas and New Year's, and I'm like, I mean, just don't really care to go. But
Gosh.
it blows my mind that we're still hunting deer. It really does. Like, almost hurts my feelings. But
Up here. I
I mean, up
Yeah.
here, it just I understand you guys down in South Alabama, y'all got a later rut. That's fine. But we pulled a couple of fetuses this past weekend that were conceived on December 24th and December 29th, and here we are, well into February, still hunting deer that have shed antlers. I saw a shed buck February the 8th, and I've got several more on camera. So.
Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah, that little tidbit of our season is what still needs some work.
And the hunters that I talk to, bless their hearts, although they're still out there blasting away.
They
They're
don't
like,
want
man,
it.
we wish season would have ended 2 weeks ago, and they're still out there.
Then
hunting.
go home.
Well,
Yeah,
and
stop
half
hunting.
your processors are closed
The
already.
processors are shutting down earlier. They're like, hey, we're just going to shut down at the end of January, and we don't really care who you carry your deer to.
Yeah.
We're not going to take them.
Can't handle anymore.
Yep.
Another thing that just really perfect for this time of year, which I'm excited for, is catching some darn crappie
Yay.
Well, when are we going?
Paper mouths.
whenever I have time.
That ain't going to happen then.
And probably not.
But it's a good idea. It's a
It-
good
it
thought.
was a great idea.
It's a great
to think
thought.
about it.
Well, look, I moved around all my rods the other day, and they're still sitting out ready to go. So
They'll not move again.
I hope that they'll move. They may get put back up, but
Yeah.
So we've got that stock bass pond at the house, and we have one
crappie?
lone crappie.
he needs to eat.
I would catch him.
Yeah.
I would.
Zach caught him and threw him back.
No, mistake.
But yeah, so we have that one little lonely crappie along.
How'd he
with
get
all-
in there?
I'm gonna assume a bird
Yeah.
because there's a few different lakes around us, but yeah, little loner.
Poor
That's
fella.
funny.
Yep, I bet he's lonely in there.
Yeah, I will have to try to pull him out before we move.
Oh, he'd be
Take
going
you-
with me. Ain't no
take you
doubt.
with you?
Yeah.
For lunch.
One way or another, he'd be going.
Catching and releasing the grease.
Fish tacos on the
Yeah.
way to the new house.
No doubt. Well, anything else you guys can think of for postseason management?
Not management, but this is a perfect time because we went by the farm a few minutes, see Dad, and take him something. But your equipment maintenance, sprayer
Yes.
maintenance,
Yeah.
planter maintenance, all of those tools that you're going to drag out in a month and a half, you better start dragging them out now.
Yep.
Because I promise you, if you're like most people, you put them up without cleaning them up like they should have been. They need grease. They need
Yep.
they need all
And-
kind of different
And you're
maintenance.
not going to pull it out until you need it, and then
Yep.
everything's going to break.
Yep.
And you're going to be pissed off just like everybody else is that's got broken parts or
And I
needs
do a lot
something
of my oil
replaced.
changes, UTVs, ATVs, tractor,
Yep.
after all my winter use, go ahead and change that oil and have it ready for spring.
Yeah. Yep. that's
Start
true.
preparing.
Yep.
No doubt.
That's right.
It won't be long, and
Yeah.
little spring thunder will
That's
be
right.
here.
It's
Oh, yeah, it will be. Y'all, turkeys.
hush.
Okay.
We can't talk about it on here.
Can't talk about it.
No.
People started sending me pictures.
I know.
A mutual friend of ours has an asinine amount of turkeys on his place, and he's already sent me videos of them strutting and gobbling, and it absolutely tears me out of the
Do
frame.
you have an invitation, though?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh yeah.
Okay, there you go. Well, that's
I have
okay.
a standing invitation.
It's okay,
It's just
then.
4 hours away from here.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
I struggle because if I want to go anywhere else, I don't need to be taking trips for a couple of days in Alabama. I need to save those
Save 'em.
days up to go on another trip if I'm going to.
Yeah, which we do have planned this year.
I hope.
You hope?
Well, for me, I know y'all are going, but I
You
hope.
are too. You've got tags. You're going to, by gosh, use them.
Nah, I may not.
They're not transferable. You have to go use them. You have to go use them.
That's
No, you're
subject for
going.
interpretation.
Who's got a problem with it?
Well,
Maybe.
nobody's
Oh.
got a problem with it, but if y'all are going up there and I've got a dang big place to sell, then I may be here.
Nah, you can sell it from the turkey woods,
Yeah, I could
Maybe.
or
possibly.
the turkey plains.
Yeah, I'm not going to miss important
Oh,
work.
Yep, we got to wrap this thing up. But
Got to pick up babies, don't we?
yeah, well, actually, I've got to go and take all this lighting gear and set up for video tomorrow.
Money, 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 money.
At least somebody's making it.
I'm just glad to have clients,
Yeah.
y'all. Shout out to every client I've got. How about that? But yeah, I think I'll wrap it up for this one. Hopefully, that was some informative info on some postseason management, and hope you guys can put some of it into practice and have future success.
If we can
right.
figure it out, Matt and I may try to do a semi little quick 2 or 3 minute live in the next couple of days on
Yeah.
our tour.
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
We're not that tech savvy,
I
but
was about to
we
say
can
heavy
try.
on that if we can figure it out.
Yes, very heavy.
Yes.
We're not very good at these things, but we're getting there.
That's what he's for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our buddy Taylor
Yeah.
is the only one that knows how to do any of this stuff, but we're trying. We're getting there.
Hey, Bray is about to die
Yep.
because she has a Zoom meeting, and she's
In
literally
like 4 minutes.
yeah, she's
Yeah, well,
busting at the seams.
I know it.
net sheets are calling, Bray.
I know.
Well, guys, we appreciate you. Please like, share, subscribe, all the things, and tell a friend about us. We would greatly appreciate it.
We'll start paying.
In crisp high fives.
Yep. Paper likes.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. Peace out.
See y'all.
Peace.